hopefully I can talk kind of loud in this. If I'm not loud enough, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wear headphones. But I've been trying to do this video for a while, a very, very long time. I actually shot this video way too many times and never uploaded it because I had no privacy, or I didn't get to finish it because I had no privacy, or I didn't get to finish it because I got too upset, and I really don't want people to see me I'm upset. So I've shot this video many times, but today is the day that I actually have to do this. I know I've said that before in the past, but like, I really need to upload this. If I don't upload this, it's never gonna get out my head. Like, I know like some people don't want to hear this, and I know people are gonna be in the comments telling me like a lot of stuff, a lot of, what is it called, advice. I know a lot of people are gonna try to give me advice, but it's going on almost 2 years since this happened. It's a short time, but it feels like very short to me. Very, very short to me. Like, it feels like it happened yesterday. I still go through some things, but I'm not gonna talk about all that yet. I'm just gonna say my story time, and it might be a little bit long. I'm gonna just say my story time, get right into it, and that's gonna be that. Watch that clip. I'm sorry I'm not giving eye contact. I'm gonna look at myself. It's just hard to talk about this, like, each time I have trouble, but I'm gonna try my best. I met this person like 2018, I want to say. My son was 1. This is not about my son's dad, just to let y'all know that. My shirt looks weird. Just to let y'all know, it's not about my son's dad. It's about somebody I dated right after him. The first person I ever dated besides my, like, you know what I'm trying to say. I haven't dated nobody else since I had my son, and it wasn't like, in middle school we have relationships, but they're not the same as relationships that go more than 2 years. So this dude, like, I don't know, but I met this kid online on Facebook in 2018. He knew I had a son. He had a daughter. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm just gonna say he all the time. I'm not gonna give no side names or anything because I just don't want to put names. But literally, I don't know why I'm so nervous today out of all days. Hold on. We started talking. We started dating. Kind of, I don't know if you want to call it dating, but we started dating like May of 2018, I want to say. And it feels like it was 2017, but it couldn't have been. It was May 2018. We started dating. I went to the city that he lived in, hung out with him a few times. He came to the city I lived in, hung out a few times for like 2 months. And my baby father wasn't around at that time, so he did meet my son. My son was probably about 7-8 months, and I know that's crazy to bring a dude around a baby like that. That's not his, but I've met him. I knew him a little bit, and as a single mother at that time, I knew straight up that what I was going through, I knew that I wasn't going to be with my son's dad again. So me being in the dating world and having a child, and also the fact that I met his child like before, like he even met mine, like he showed me, introduced me to his child. So it was like, you gotta understand that when you know it's not going to work out with somebody else and you have kids and you try to work it with somebody else, that kid comes with the relationship, whether you want to or not. I knew I wasn't going to get back with my son's father. I started dating somebody else. there was going to be eventually a time where my new boyfriend will meet my son. If I really want things to work, my son comes as a part of me. So that's what it was. There was red flags going on at the end of that relationship. It was only like maybe 2 or 3 months. And my baby father started coming back around, and I messed up, and I cut the dude off randomly because we got into an argument over text. He said that he was gonna share pictures of me to my family, that pictures that shouldn't be seen by my family. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. And we was arguing that day, and in that same day I was with my baby father. He didn't know I was dating somebody else. I haven't seen him in a while. We was at the mall just hanging out, walking around with our son, and I told him, and he instantly, both of us, we blocked the dude on all accounts, Facebook, message, just blocked him, didn't speak to him again. After I had blocked him, I was very upset. I was crying because I really thought that my parents were gonna see photos of me that I didn't want to see, my family, the internet. I was crying in the middle of the mall, and yeah, that day happened, and I never spoke to the dude again. And I tried to get back with my son's dad, and it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. So, yeah, that happened. And fast forward to last year, 2020, we're now almost in 2022. That's why I'm like, I really wanted to do this before. It's almost been 2 years since this incident happened. All this happened. So, like, as I'm saying it, I already know what I'm going to say. And since I know what I'm going to say, it's kind of like bringing back the memory. That's why, like, I don't even know where to start, honestly. I've said this story to so many people so many times, and now that I'm actually, like, recording it, knowing that it's going to be put on the internet, it's making me a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie, for many reasons. But fast forward to 2020, I want to say February or January of 2020, he messaged me, the one that I blocked on Facebook from a different account, of course, and it's raining. He messaged me, asked me how I've been. Mind you, the last time we spoke was 2018, so it been 2 years since I actually spoke to this dude. And I apologized to him. I said, I'm sorry. I just felt like we wasn't that argument. Basically saying that I'm sorry for blocking you without, like, initially saying, hey, we're done, we need to break up, this is not going well. I just blocked him in the middle of an argument. I shouldn't have apologized because I don't even have the receipts. But if I had the receipts, it was very bad. It was like almost like blackmail. Like, oh, if you don't do this, I'm gonna do this type of thing. That's what the argument was basically. And he was like, it's okay, maybe we should see each other, because I'm sorry too, I should have never said that. Like, we both apologized to each other. Catch up, maybe get some food. My son was now 2 years old now. So, like, he was like, oh, I can't believe he's gotten so much bigger since the last time I seen him. And we were just sharing, catching up through text. I eventually linked him. He told me the whole story about how he was dating this girl, he was living with this girl, and they got into an argument one night. I forgot what it was about, but they got into an argument one day, and she went to the police station and told the police that he had choked her. And I was like, well, did you? He was like, no, I never put my hands on her. We was just arguing. The cops were called, and she went to the police station. She has no marks on her, no nothing, but I got arrested for it because domestic violence. And I was like, oh, damn, like, sorry to hear that you didn't do it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people get falsely accused of murder, falsely accused of a whole bunch of shit. So obviously, like, if I asked you straight up if you did it or not, and you tell me you didn't do it, I should take your word for it. Just tell me the truth. It's either you did do it or you didn't. You know what I mean? When he linked me, he told me that he just got out of jail. That should have been my first red flag. But knowing me, I have family, I have friends, I have so many people that I know that have been in and out of jail for many reasons, bad reasons, stupid reasons, fights, drugs, other reasons. So I'm not gonna judge you if you have a past that doesn't have to do with me and is not serious, like rape or murder or something like that. I'm not gonna judge you for other shit like weed or like, even though I should kind of judge, but everybody has a past and I'm not gonna hold that against anybody. So he told me that a girl falsely accused him. Um, yeah, I introduced him to my family and shit like that. So he was sleeping over my house. I live with my mother, sleeping over my house almost every day, bringing me to work when I had work, walking me to work because I worked downtown Newport, and my house is at the beginning of downtown, and I worked towards the end of downtown. So it was like a good 15, 20-minute walk to work. So he would walk me to work, and I thought it was him making sure I was safe. It wasn't. One time I told him, just stay at the house, I'll walk to work, because he would have to walk 20 minutes to my job and 20 minutes back. So one day I was like, you know what, maybe you should stay, you know, and I can do the walk. Even before we dated, I was doing the walk by myself anyways. And he just did not like that answer. He didn't like it at all. He literally freaking just, his whole demeanor changed. He was like, why don't you want me to walk you to work? I was like, it's not that I don't want you to. Why don't you just stay home? I'll walk to work. You don't have to walk me today. You walk me every single day. That's a 40-minute walk. You know what I mean? So I was like, just stay home and, you know, relax. I'm going to walk to work. It was literally one day. He was like, no, I'm walking you to work because I don't believe you're going to work now because I always walk you. And he assumed that I really wasn't going to work. He was like, no, I'm going to walk you to make sure you get to work because you could be going to cheat on me. And I was like, what? We was arguing, and I was like, I finally said, you know what? Just walk me to work. Because either way, he was going to follow me. The whole, like, when I got to the end of my street, and the whole almost halfway walking to my job, we was arguing. Downtown Newport, if anybody knows downtown Newport, where all the bars are, where the restaurants are, people were eating outside, dining outside, walking around, and I was embarrassed. I told him, I said, I'm going to go this way if you're going to argue with me. You're walking me to work, so why are you arguing about walking me to work when you're doing it? I said, just please be quiet. You want to walk me to work? Walk me to work. Either talk about something else on this walk or don't talk to me at all. Because I'm trying to walk to work. I don't want to go to work in a bad mood. And he just wanted to argue. And I was like, I'm about to go this way. He's like, if you turn that way, that means that you're really not going to work. So I was like he was just following me each way. Like we'll be walking this way. I'll turn around, go and try to go another way. And he'll follow me. Like, it was just ridiculous. At that point, it was just freaking ridiculous. Finally get to my job. He's like, okay, I'll be here to pick you up too. Which he was doing. Like, I would work from 5 to 12. I would close the store. And he will be at my job at like 11:45 picking me up. Type shit. So, yeah. And one day, that's another reason why I wanted him to take a break. Like, I need my space. That's what it was. Like, I really just needed my space to walk to work, and walk back. Because he was sleeping at my house. You know what I mean? I just needed that space to have a nice walk. I don't know. And there was one time, I was in the back getting something. I don't remember if it was ice. I don't remember what it was. But I was in the back and I wasn't in the front where I usually be. This dude called me 4 times. When I was in the back, I answered the phone. I was like, hello? He was like, where are you? I was like, work. He was like, no, you're not. I was like, how are you going to tell me? But I was in the back. And I answered it real quick. He was like, I'm here right now and I don't see you. I came out to the front and I was like, are you serious, bro? You're not going to tell me. I don't have to lie about where I'm at. I'm going to tell you straight up where I'm at. Anybody that I'm in a relationship with. If you want to know where I'm at for safety or in general, I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I don't have to do it every day. But that was just like crazy to me. I literally, he's like, oh, I didn't see you. No shit. I was in the back doing something. You expect me to be in the front all the time? But yeah, so that was one incident that happened. The second incident that happened, me and him was sleeping at a hotel. This is going to be short, but me and him was sleeping at a hotel, and he did this on multiple occasions. Mind you, this is the same last 2 weeks of March. And I woke up the next morning, and I had to go to work the next day, and he woke me up, and he said, hey, we need to talk. So I wake up, and he showed me text messages between me and this dude that I was texting before we started dating. And I was like, okay, like me, I don't delete messages, especially like if they're very, very old. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna delete. Yes, I delete messages, but these messages were from months ago. When I tell you months ago, I don't go back and delete every single message of people that I've talked to. Like, you know what I mean? Because I've had good conversations with people. I had freaky conversations with people. I had arguments with people. I don't delete anything. I don't have nothing to hide. Especially if it's my device. You know what I mean? So I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm in a relationship, I'm going to delete messages from 2019, 2017. I'm gonna delete them because I'm in a relationship. No, I wasn't thinking that. I could have deleted them, but what's the point? Because the relationship I was in had nothing to do with those messages. No part. That person that I was texting has no part in our relationship, so I wasn't thinking anything of it. So he showed me the messages. He was like, so you're cheating on me? I looked at him. I said, do you see the date on those messages? He's like, yeah, but you still have this person in your phone. I said, mind you, it was on Snapchat and it was saved messages. He scrolled up. And I told him straight up, think about the time that we have been dating and look at the date of those messages. So you can see right there that I didn't cheat. It was like freaky text messages, whatever. And he was on my phone for I don't know how long, but my block list definitely changed. It was like he was going through messages with just guys and like reading them, like scrolling up on Snapchat, because on Snapchat I used to save my conversation all the time. Like I said, I don't got nothing to hide in my own phone. Especially I was single before we started dating again. So it was like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So we really get to arguing because he's still saying that I'm cheating because I have old text messages of people that I used to talk to. If I'm not talking to them anymore, you don't see any recent text messages, why are you bugging out? And we started to get into a physical fight. Yeah. We started getting into a physical fight, and my son, he was 2. He didn't really understand, but he understood. He probably thought we was play wrestling. He was watching cartoons. My son was there, and he probably thought we was play wrestling, but the one thing that really happened is I went to go run. We had a balcony door. I went to go run to the back of the door to scream help. Locked me from the door, shut the door, locked it. Told me where I was like going. Pushed me on the bed, on my back, mind you, because he was built. Like, he was like, I'm skinny. You see my arms. But this dude was like built. So he pushed me on the bed and I like landed on my back. And he started choking me full force on my neck. Like, he was pressure pointing me on my neck, choking me. But the way that he was choking me was terrible. it wasn't like he was over me choking me. His whole body, legs, chest, neck, like everything, his whole body weight was on top of me, and he was choking me. And I forgot what he said to me, but I could not breathe. I felt like I was gonna black out. It was like body weight on top of like a whole bunch of weight in my neck. Like it was just, I felt like I was being smushed basically and choked at the same time. So the only instinct that I had was to bite him. And his head was like face down on the bed. And I literally turned my head just like that and bit his cheek, latched onto his cheek because I couldn't move anything else. My arms were by my side, my legs were down, and he was on top of me choking me. His whole body weight straight. So yeah, that happened. And when I bit his cheek, he had to pull away because I literally latched on, like almost like trying to take a chunk off his. I didn't know what to do. Like that was my only reaction. It's either black out or fight. With the only thing I had was my face. I couldn't move my neck. I couldn't move any. Like I can move my neck, but I couldn't lift my neck up. Like the only thing I can move was like to the side, left and right. So that's the only instinct that I had was to bite. Bit him. He got up, started calling me crazy. You're crazy. He went to the mirror. He was bleeding. He had a whole like teeth mark, but a circle on his cheek. He called me crazy. He said I'm delusional, but he just tried to like basically choke me to death. But I'm crazy. At that time, me and my mom was not getting along. We was arguing about stupid stuff that night, and that's why I ended up in a hotel. And I had to go to work. So I shouldn't have done this, and I regret this. But I went to work that day that he choked me. My son was sleeping because like I said, I worked the late shift. So my son was sleeping, and I went to work while he watched my son. Worst mistake I ever made. He never. He never put his hands on my son. Never. I wish he would have. Never put his hands on my son. Never did anything to my son. So, yeah. So I went to work, and we was like jokingly, even though this sounds toxic, he was like, "Wow, you really bit me," and I was like, "Wow, you really choked me." Like my glands, my whole throat felt like I had a sore throat. Like I'm not kidding you. I'm not lying. My whole like right here was like kind of like down. Like it didn't have like a mark. It was just like swollen. Like it was like puffy. I had like no bruises or anything. It was just my neck all on this side and this side too. Like the middle of my neck was swollen. And I like was losing my voice a little bit. So yeah, that was that story. And then a few days later, he asked my mother and me if he can move in and pay some of the rent. And we told him no because I was looking for my own apartment. My mom was gonna eventually have to move into her own apartment because if I moved out, she would have, like, we're under housing. So if I moved out, she would have to move out because housing doesn't let you have extra rooms. So I was ready to move out into my own apartment with my son. And yeah, that's that. And I said, well, I'm moving, my mom's moving, we're in a time where we're separating and getting our lives together. I don't think it's a good time for us to move in together as a whole because we're separating anyways. And I guess he like really had nowhere to go and he got upset. And he was like, so why are you even with me? This, that, the third, got into an argument. And he didn't have a job or anything. He was like, why are you with me? I don't work. I have nowhere to stay. I said, everybody has a downtime in their life. People go without jobs. People go without work. Depends how long you're doing it for. And, you know, when he had money, he would give me stuff. Like, whatever money he got, he would buy me things, take me out to eat, like, go to the store, get me snacks, little stuff. So I was like, I'm not gonna judge you because you don't have a job. Go look for one if you feel like you're being judged. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna judge you if you don't have a place. People are struggling out here. It ain't easy. It's not a piece of cake. Unless you have like good money, it's hard to get a place. So like I told him, I said I'm with you because I like you. I want to be with you. I'm not with you for benefits. You know what I mean? So yeah. So that was earlier in the day. Later that night, I was going to one of my old best friend's house, and he asked me. He was like, "So why are you going over there?" And I was like, I was still mad from the argument we had earlier. It wasn't just saying that. I was just like pinpointing what we was talking about. But I was still a little bit mad, and I was mad that he asked me why am I going to my best friend's house. So I said I'm going over there to do something with her. Like, I'm not gonna say it, but I basically said I was gonna like mess with her. And he was like, "Are you serious? You're gonna cheat on me with a girl?" And I'm like, "Bro, like, I'm kidding. I'm being sarcastic. I'm going over to my best friend's house to see my best friend and chill with her. We're girls, even with your niggas. Like, you know, like, I just got a text message that I been wanted, but I basically told him I was gonna go eat some kitty, and he got mad. I said I was being sarcastic, and he was like, "Give me my sweater back. You're really going over there to cheat." I said I was being sarcastic. Like, you really crazy. Like, I was being sarcastic because you asked me a dumbass question. And I gave him it was like a button up like this. Gave him his sweater back, and we broke up. Like, broke up. And he was supposed to take the bus home to a city, and I was supposed to go to my best friend's house. So we were supposed to go like this. Instead, he still tried to argue with me. I was on the phone with my other best friend, and I walked all the way around to go to her house because I was honestly scared that we was going to get into a fight again. So, yeah, that happened. So, yeah. That same night, I was at my girl's house. We're not really friends anymore. If she sees this, hey girl, yeah. But I was going over her house, and her sister was buying pizza, right? And they opened the door for the delivery guy. My ex was sitting on the steps of my best friend's house. Mind you, we didn't walk together. I walked the whole opposite way. He was supposed to go on the bus home. This boy was sitting on her porch. I go out there, I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He was like, "Oh, I still have your Instagram, Facebook, and all that," because I blocked him on everything because he was blackmailing me and saying, "Oh, we're going to fight when I see you, this, that, the third. You like when we fight, this, that, the third. And you want to hit me, you want to bite me." Why did I hit and bite you? There was multiple occasions where he slapped me in my face. He choked me. My normal reaction is to hit back. My normal reaction from when he choked me was to bite. So he was texting me paragraphs. "You really bit me. You put your hands on me." I didn't just put my hands on you to put my hands on you. I put my hands on you because I was defending myself. And he was literally texting me like I was the one that was starting it when we was breaking up. So I was like, I blocked him on everything, and that's when he ended up on my best friend's porch. Crazy. So I went out there. He tried to take my phone and delete messages. He said, "I see you on Facebook posting you're single now, deleting our pictures. Who said to do that?" I said, "We're broken up. So I'm going to delete my pictures, and I'm going to put myself as single because that's what it is." And we was arguing. I said, "Goodbye, go home." Went back in the house. So literally, I was chilling with my friends. My mom came, scooped me up to bring me back home. She had my son. She was watching my son while I go hang out and have girl time with my friends. She was doing that for me, just watching my son for me while I go hang out for a few hours. And she was like, "I think we should get a restraining order," because she heard me and my ex arguing down the street when we was talking about why I was going to my best friend's house. She was like, I think we should get a restraining order. I heard how he was talking to you. I don't like it, and I feel like he's dangerous. She must have looked out the window and seen all that. But I was like, no, it's good. We broke up. He went home. We're done. I talked to him on everything. Go home and shit. And I'm chilling. It's my dad, me, my brother, and my mom. We're all chilling downstairs, whatever. And my mom and my dad said, oh, we're going to go to 7-Eleven real quick, get some snacks. But they was talking downstairs with the neighbor, like having a few shots with him that lived right. And it was late at night at the time. So I literally was getting ready to go upstairs. And my best friend called me and was like, did you see your Instagram? You better log in. He was sending our sex tape to people on my Instagram. Like dudes I was texting, or like, this is the same night, same fucking night. So he was sending our sex tape and he had my Instagram password. And just setting them in people's DMs randomly. He deleted all the cute pictures of myself that I really liked. He deleted them. He posted pictures of us instead. And he was just going crazy. So I was on the toilet talking to my best friend, you know. Obviously she didn't see me use the bathroom, but I was on the toilet and my son was brushing his teeth. And I was like, bro, I'm about to log into my Instagram right now, block everybody that see my sex tape, all that shit. Like, I was like, I'll call you later. Hung up. So like I said, I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom. My son was brushing his teeth, getting ready for bed. I'm upstairs now because my room, like, I could show you because I'm in my old room now. But yeah. So literally, when I hung up the phone with her, this dude, my ex-boyfriend, comes out of my room. Literally comes out of my room and says, I heard everything you said. And I was petrified because one, I'm sitting on the toilet. Two, he wasn't even supposed to be in my house. The last time I seen him was on my best friend's porch. So I was like, the first thing I said was, how'd you get my house? He said, don't worry about it, but we're not breaking up. I said, now we are because your crazy ass broke into my house. He was like, don't worry about how I got in here. We're not breaking up. And we was arguing upstairs. Mind you, my parents are downstairs not knowing he's in our house. Somebody called me, bruh. But, so they didn't know that he was in the house because I was on the 3rd floor now. They was on the 1st floor because the guy downstairs has a 1-studio apartment and we had the top 2 floors. So I'm all the way on the 3rd floor arguing with this motherfucker, and they're all the way on the 1st floor not knowing what the fuck's going on at all. They have no idea that this dude is in my house. So we're arguing. I'm like, bro, we're not getting back together. Instead of choking me, he shakes my arms, but he pushes me on the bed. I'm laying on the bed on my back again because he pushed me, and he started shaking. Mind you, when he pushes me or hits me or anything, yes, we'll be arguing, but the way he does it is like, he does it so randomly and so fast that by the time it's already coming, like by the time he pushed me, it was already too late. I couldn't react. He's shot, like, very stronger than me, so he pushed me on the bed. He started shaking me like, oh, we are getting back together. He started shaking me, and that one time was my son started crying because he was screaming this time and he was shaking me on the bed. And I literally, in 3 steps, I got up after, because when my son started crying, he got up, I got up. I scooped my son up because my son was still in the bathroom. I scooped my son up, ran down the stairs, and started screaming help. Screaming, like literally, my son had just a shirt on. I had literally shorts and a shirt on because I was getting ready to go to bed. I started screaming help. So my ex came down the stairs panicking because I'm screaming help. My dad heard me, my mom didn't. So my dad comes up the stairs from the guy downstairs in the apartment. He said, yo, Tad, what's going on? And my ex panicked. He came running down the stairs after me. And I went to go pull open the door, like my front door. And my ex pushed it shut. And I was like, yo, stop. And me and my ex started arguing. And my dad heard my ex voice. He said, yo. He was like, who's in there? So when we start arguing more, he was like, yo. My dad was trying to get in. I was trying to pull the door. My ex would not let me open the door. So I was like basically trapped in my crib. And they was like about to break the door down. So then my ex was like, okay, this is getting crazy. He tries to go out the back door. But since he was moving, there was boxes on the back door. So he had to go out the front. So he passed my, and my dad was like, yo, what's up? Like he was trying to find my ex just ran. So my mom was already going down the street towards 7-Eleven because my dad had came back up the stairs and she went out the door. So he runs past my mom, and all I hear my mom is like, what the hell is going on? Because she was at the end of my street, and you can see my house from the end of the street. So he was running towards the end of my street, not knowing that my mom was at the end of the street. And she was like, what the hell? Because my dad was chasing after my ex, and my mom was watching them run, like basically towards her. And my dad and my mom started chasing him together, because I don't know what my mom's instinct was to chase him, but probably because she knew that he wasn't in the house too. And they come back to the crib and they're like, how did he get in? I said, I have no idea. He was here this whole time that we was here. And they called the cops. Mom was like, did you let him in? I'm like, Mom, if I would have let him in, you would have seen me let him in. You guys were downstairs and about to go to 7-Eleven. He would have passed you straight. I didn't let him in the house, and we was home for at least 2 hours. I did not know I was in the living room with my dad and my son playing. My mom was downstairs already. And my mom was like, telling my dad, you want to come to the store with me real quick. As soon as they went downstairs, I went upstairs, and that's when everything happened. So if they would have went to the store, who knows what had happened to me. I thank the Lord that I had 5 minutes, because if my parents would have went to the store and I would have never went upstairs, anything could have happened to me that night. Any fucking thing could have happened. If I didn't scream help, if I didn't just grab my son and go down the stairs and scream help, I don't know what would have happened. And the cops were called. The cops came. They said, what happened? I literally told the cops, I just came home from my friend's house. I broke up with my ex earlier this day, and he showed up at my friend's house, which they're the witness, and they showed up at my house. He must have broke in when we wasn't here. And when they went downstairs, he took off. We didn't notice this when we came home. You know how like the doors downstairs, like the doors that like swing before you open the main door, they have like the glass, and then they have the like matted holes windows. He took the matted one off and the glass one off, and he put the glass window back, but he put it backwards. So this dude took the whole window off and put it back, shut the door behind him, went upstairs, picked the lock, and shut the door behind him. Mind you, when we came home, everything was locked up. So that's another reason how we didn't know he was in the crib, because when we came home, all of us came home at the same time. Everything was locked. The door was locked. The doors were shut. So I'm not expecting nobody to be in my crib, especially the fact that we left earlier that day. I'm not expecting him to be there. So obviously they know it's a freaking break-in. So they went to go look for him, gave him the instructions to look for him. They found him. He took my phone, mind you, and they said they couldn't find my phone. They brought his phone to me. I said, this is not my phone. This is his phone. I told the truth. I was like, this is not my phone. This is his phone. When I turned on his phone, it said iPhone set up. He factory reset his phone. So all the text messages of him blackmailing me, all that shit was gone, and my phone was gone too. And yeah, they arrested him, and the cops told me that they'll be in touch. And that's basically the story that I wanted to tell. I was in a really bad domestic violence relationship. That happened in April 2nd, 3rd, or I think in May, of 2020, I went into a shelter because he was calling me from jail. He was writing letters to my friend's house and to my house. He couldn't write a letter to my house anymore, so he wrote a letter to my friend's house and told her to give it to me. My friend stopped talking to me for a little bit because she was like, why do you have this man sending me letters? I said, it's not me, he's stalking me. And her parents said that we shouldn't hang out anymore because I'm dangerous, and that I was basically putting her daughter in harm, and really was out of my control. And yeah, I called the facility. I told him. So when I answered the phone, mind you, he called my mother's phone because he knew that he took my phone. He called my mother's phone thinking it was gonna be my mom. I answered because I had no phone, and my mom had 2 iPhones, so she gave me one. I answer it. It was a jail call, and I click it. I'm like, hello. He's like, yeah, I'm so sorry, babe. I love you. I should have never did that. He admitted to the crime on the phone like a dumbass. I said, well, I said, just to let you know, I just need my clothes. I said, you could have did anything but that. You could have talked to me the next day, even though you was blocked. You could have came over, knocked on the door, and said, hey, can we talk about it, or something like that. Instead, you broke into my house, bro. You really, like, do you understand that? And shit like that. And then I had the facility after that conversation block me, well, block him from calling me, and we had a no contact order, so he failed to do the no contact order. This is the main point I'm getting to. He did 10 months for that. He got out in January of this year. How I know that is because he texted me and said, hey, we need to talk. Sent me pictures and videos of us when we was dating and said, hey, Tat, we need to talk. Can you please forgive me? He made a fake Facebook and was asking my cousins and my friends from high school at the time when we dated in 2018, the friends that he knew, text him, hey, have you heard from Tatiana? I've been trying to get onto her, but a fake profile. He used a fake profile, but they knew that it was him because I don't hang out with much people for people to ask me where I've been at and who they were trying to get onto. My high school friends, my middle school friends, my family know who I hang around. So if they see somebody text them like, hey, have you heard from Tatiana, or do you know Tatiana, because that's what he said, they're going to know that's kind of weird. Because why would somebody that knows me ask about my whereabouts if they should have me on social media? I have all platforms. You know what I mean? And my cousin was like, hey, I just want to know if you know this person before I tell them your Facebook or give them your number. I don't want to just give out your number. I said, don't do that. That's my ex trying to figure out where the hell I am and try to find me. And I told her the situation because I didn't get to tell my cousin what happened that night. And she said, well, I blocked him. Same thing I told the other girl. She blocked him. I made a police report saying that this person may try to harm me because why was he trying to figure out where I live? Mind you, all of 2020 when I was in the shelter from May to July, but before I was in the shelter, they put me into a hotel a month before that. So I was in a hotel for a month, and I was in the shelter May, June, July for 3 months. So altogether, I was basically homeless for 4 months because they was trying to put me in a safer home because he was stalking me. So literally, that's a whole nother story. I didn't hear nothing from the court. Mind you, this was during COVID, the whole time of his sentence. They only got to let me speak one time when they said that he wanted to be released early. I had to speak in front of a jury over a phone call saying what happened that night and that I'm unsafe and that he cannot be released. I said, if he's released, I'm scared that he's going to come for me again. I literally said, I could have died that night. And people don't understand that. Like, I literally told the court, I said, if you let him out, he's going to come find me because he called me in jail, knowing that I basically put him in jail, telling me that he loved me. That don't sound like a narcissist to you? And they was like, we're so sorry for this. He will not be released. All that. And that was probably before I went to the shelter, before I got scared, and I was like, I really don't know if they're going to release him because he's asking to be released and he's only been there for a few weeks. So I was like, I'm gonna leave, voluntarily going to a shelter, because if I don't, he's gonna find me. So that's what I ended up doing. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell my family. I just called Women's Resource and I left. I didn't tell anybody. And if you look back at my YouTube where it says moving out of Rhode Island, that was me. This is the truth. That was me leaving and going into the shelter. I was in a state close to Rhode Island, and you know, I lied. Maybe I lied a lot in that video because I really did not want him to find me. That moving out of Rhode Island is video proof of me going into the hotel. I literally said, oh, I'm in a hotel because I have to quarantine over here, which I did. I had to quarantine for 30 days in order to move into a shelter. I had to quarantine for 30 days in a hotel. So I hear like an ambulance or something. Hold on. But yeah, that moving out of Rhode Island video, that was like a few weeks after that shit happened, honestly, of me moving into the shelter. So this is basically a truth video. I did not move out of Rhode Island. I moved, I can tell you guys, moved to Massachusetts into a shelter. And then I moved back into a Rhode Island shelter. And then the shelter did not work out. I'll do another story time that it did not work out. I ended up not moving back in with my mom, but I ended up going into hotels with my son because I opted out of my mom's rent lease because I was going into the shelter and they was going to give me a new apartment and a new safe home for me. So for me and my son was in the shelter with me too. So literally since then, it's now 2021, December 2021. I've been flip-flopping from my mom's house to hotels. When I opted out of the shelter, it was because I was there for 4 months, and prior to being in the shelter, I've been on housing lists everywhere in Rhode Island. So when I went into the shelter, I was now homeless, even though I was on the section list, which should have bumped me up into a place sooner. And it didn't, and they said I would have had to stay at the shelter for 6 months in order to get an apartment, even though I was already on the wait list for the places that like I was applying for. Like I was already online applied for, but they wanted me to do paper. So like basically every housing list for housing had a e-document and a paper document, and I was homeless. So it was like, yeah. And also, hold on. And also, they should have already gave me a place because I was on a list since 2016. So 2016 and 2021, that's almost 5 years or so. So when I became homeless, that should have automatically bumped me up to the top list because I'm homeless and I was already on the list prior. It wasn't like I was homeless and I moved to Rhode Island and I got on the housing list. No, I was in my mother's home and became homeless because of domestic violence. So that should have bumped up. And I was living at the shelter for 4 months. My son was getting picked on. I was getting picked on. I opted out and they said, we're sorry it didn't work out. Usually we have people stay here for 6 months and then we move them. What do I have to prove to you in 6 months when I already have all the documents, all the paperwork filled out that I'm supposed to for housing? You guys are the advocates. You guys are supposed to talk to him so I have somewhere to live. And I opted out like around July, like 4th of July. I opted out the shelter because I was tired of it. I was depressed. I did not want to go back to the shelter. I just left my stuff there. They had to bring my stuff to my mother's house again. They said, we're sorry it didn't work out to you. Do you feel safe? I said, no, I don't feel safe. I came to you guys because I didn't feel safe. So I'm basically it was either I got kicked out the shelter or I left, because like I said, favoritism. My son was getting bullied away, I was getting bullied away. So I was like, no, I'm not safe, but this is my only choice. It's either I'm homeless on the street or I have to basically come back with my mom. So I came back with my mom, and I sleep in hotels from time to time because I'm not on my mom's lease. And I try to call another shelter. The shelter in the city that my mom lives in, Newport, I've been on the wait list to move into the family shelter since 2020. They know what happened. They know a lot of things, and I've been on the wait list to be in a shelter for a year, on top of being on the wait list for housing for 4 years. So it's just a lot. Also, another thing I'm gonna say is the guy that did this, he's out. He's somewhere. And they actually wrote me a letter. If I find it later on and do a part 2, if anybody wants me to, I will show you guys the letter. Hold on. Nah, I honestly can't find it at this second. I'm not gonna go hunt for it, but I really can't find it. So literally, the letter stated this. I got this 2 months ago. Stated that this person, the dude that did all this shit, is out on probation, and they can't really do anything to help me unless I make a report. And if I find it, I will let you know. Because of the situation, they had to write me a letter to state that he's out. They wrote his name. They said, to Tatiana, we just want to let you know this person is out. If this person tries to contact you, let us know. Really, that's it. They can't protect me in either other way. I have to wait for him to come to me to get help. They're supposed to be, you know what I mean? So, like, that's what scares me the most about this video. And I got this letter, like, a few months ago. I didn't tell anybody about it, so if a family member sees this, yeah, they wrote me a letter saying that he's out on probation, and if he tries to contact me, to report it. He can contact me in any way. He can text me. He probably is following me on a fake account, and I don't even know. Like I said, I have all different social media, and yeah, so the truth is out. And a lot of people, I told I was moving out of state. I did try to move out of state. It didn't work. And it's just a lot, because if anything happens to me, God forbid, I don't want anything to happen to me, but I just feel like I have no protection. And I still worry to this day. I still, like, honestly, when I'm home alone, when I get home from work, I literally go upstairs and check the closets. I check the bathroom. I check every cranny to see if he's in here. And it's like a trigger for me. Like, I can't even, like, be in this house. I sleep in hotels because I'm that uncomfortable. And I never said that. Especially, I never said that on camera. It is so uncomfortable being here that, like, I find myself pacing. I find myself leaving the lights on when in the house. I look in the closets every single time I come into a room because I feel like how I felt. I didn't know he was in my house that whole time, and I was chilling. So every single time I come home, I feel like, hey, even though I just came home from work, he might be in my house. Because that's exactly what happened. I came home from a friend's house and he was in my house. And, like, I know this video was all negative and shit, but I just want to make this video because there's a lot of girls that are going through domestic violence. There's friends, family members that I know that have been beat and sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, a whole bunch of abuse that I see, especially on the internet. I've seen people's stories and stuff of their abusers, and I just wanted to put my story out there, even though it's been 2 years. It feels like yesterday this goes for girls and guys too, because there is girls that are abusive and there is guys that are abusive. I'm not saying that it's just guys. I'm not saying it's all guys. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just putting this out there because I want somebody to accidentally watch this video and feel that they're not alone and feel like they can talk to me, because literally I will put my email right here. If any female or male wants to contact me and talk to me, I will talk to him. Like I said, after this video is posted, I'm starting my podcast. I will be talking about relationships. And like I'm going to say this now. Everybody has their opinions. So what I say in my podcast, you may not agree with, but somebody else will. And also, alongside in my YouTube, I'm going to have a guest with me, whether it be a friend or a family member, that is going to give their opinion too. And we're just going to talk, chat, and you can listen. You know what I mean? It's going to be a whole different topic, serious topics, funny topics, challenges. But I just really need to get this off my chest for a very, very long time. I want to help people. Like I said, contact me if you want to talk. I'm here to talk. This is my channel to express myself. I've been wanting to do this since I